Hello guys. Am I audible? I think my screen is already visible. Okay, what someone was saying, there was a news regarding our exams. It will be now taken on this platform. Maybe Kamran, I am not 100% sure as of now. Yes, things are going in that direction. Um let's see. So, any question till the last class? I was supposed to create a offline video, but I couldn't do because there was a problem with the Windows of my system. I had to refresh the system and load all the drivers, etc. So, by the way, I will do it tonight most probably and upload one lecture, which is mostly a theoretical part that you can go through. And whatever we cover today and whatever is left after that, small topics, if they are at all left, then we will try to make the video lecture for them as well. So, guys, tomorrow is going to be the day when we will, I will give you the assignments. So, at tomorrow's lecture, you can expect to just the assignments. I will explain them what to do and how to do, and how you have to basically send me the completed assignment. My screen is not visible. Is it not visible to everyone? It is visible. Okay. So I'm assuming it is visible. Akanksha, you can just check, or you can just exit and join again, probably. So, so tomorrow try to be present. It is important for everyone because we will discuss about the assignment and they could probably be evaluated. And so let's proceed. My screen is visible, right? I'm still confused. Okay. Okay. So let's move. Okay. So in the last class, we have discussed the execute update method, and we have seen the execute query method before the execute update method, and we know that execute query method is basically meant to fire the select statement, whereas execute update statement is very much particularly meant for the data manipulation language. There are three statements which comes in the data manipulation language: the insert, the update, and the delete. So we have seen all the three yesterday. We have tried with insert, we have tried with update, and we have tried with delete as well. Now we have a clear cut division that if I need to execute data query language like select statement, then I will use execute query method of the statement class. And if I need to execute or fire insert, update, or delete statement, then I will be using execute update method of the statement class. Now these two methods have their differences. The execute query method, as we have seen, resulted in a result set because it was a select query, and when I'm firing a select query, then that means that I will get a number of results. So that is not made for manipulation or any changes in the database state, but rather it is meant for a kind of viewing the database state for a particular table as per the query suggests. So we have to iterate over the result set and we process the result set as we like. But in the case of execute update method, as we know that it only returns an integer value, and this integer value only indicates that how many records are affected. So if my delete statement, for example, if it has got a where clause, like delete from Jamia Hamza dot students, where course is equal to mtech, so all the mtech students will be deleted. And say, for example, as we have seen, there were if there were 4 students, then the records affected value that will be returned back and assigned to the by the execute update method and assigned to the record affected variable, which is an integer, will be holding a value of 4, and that is what we are printing in the next line. So I think it was very much clear till this point. Any doubts? Oh, start the recording. Okay, I will start the recording, but don't worry, because some part we have missed. So I will get it from the Upgrad team and then I can upload it again. By the way, let me start from here onwards. Well, so after looking at the execute query method and the execute update method, which are meant for different purposes, uh, and there was a clear-cut clarification that for what type of statement, which method we are going to use. Now, there is another method, execute method, that was discussed in the context of the issue that we were facing with the grant and grant command, and basically what we were trying in the last class about having such a statement and trying to see whether they are working in execute update method or not. So the first thing that we learned was it was working for execute method, and then later it was attempted by the student, one of the student, and we've seen that it's okay for both the methods alike. So, but we till then we have not discussed the execute method as such. So we are going to cover it formally now. So uh, the execute method of the statement class, if I want to run it, so on the variable name, say stmt dot, variable name is wrong, and then you can see this is a execute method, right? Now this execute method is it has got in fact many versions. We will see the one of the most basic version, and that says that basically takes a string parameter, the first one execute, which is in highlighted. Then it takes a string parameter, which is a single statement, and if we see the return type, then you can see the return type is basically it's a boolean value. It's a boolean value. So just quickly write down in the chat box what was the result type of execute query method on the statement class. Write in the chat box. Guys, getting the question? Result set. Okay, so that's a name of a class. Result set. So it should be like this. Okay, result set for the execute query method. Right. Everyone agrees. Now, what's the return type of execute update method? Integer. Very well. So integer, this integer value of the execute update method, what does it indicates? Just now we have discussed number of records affected. Okay, so the execute update method could have what all queries? What are the queries that execute update method could be passed with? Basically, all the DML statements. Okay, uh, DCL as well. Yes, we have seen that. Okay, so basically, we will be talking. We have talked about in our class as a demonstration purpose the update, delete, and the uh, insert statements as a DML statements. Now we are talking about the execute statement, and we have seen that the execute statement. This statement neither returns a result set, neither returns a integer value. And if you read the Java doc of this method, it says the execute method executes the given SQL statement, which may return multiple results. In some uncommon situations, a single SQL statement may result multiple result set or update counts. So it is saying that it may result result sets as well as update counts. It has a potential to return both of these types, but actually it is returning the Boolean type. So the purpose, let me tell you the purpose of the execute method first. The execute method is one which actually has the potential wherein in the SQL query, the string query that we pass in, it can have just any type of query, no matter what, including the select query and that all the DML queries that the select statement and all the DML statement that we have seen, like insert, update, and delete. So whether I want to write a select query inside it, uh, I can go on with it, or if I want to write an insert query just like in the above line, I can also write an insert query. But in the select query, as we know, we were expecting a result set is going to be returned, which we need to process. And in the insert, update, or delete query, we were expecting that instead of a result set, we get a number of rows affected in form of an integer value as a return type. But this execute statement basically is not going to return me anything. It's going to return me anything like that. In fact, it is going to return me a boolean value, and this boolean value, as we know, can have two values. What are those two values? Can anyone type in the chat box? True or false? Right? Yeah. I want to see if anyone types 0 or 1. So no, that's Nuruzama. Again, that's not correct. In the context of Java, we don't have 0 and 1. Never say in any of the interviews. Okay, so it's always true and false. Okay, so so we get either true and false. So when we get a true value, that means a result set might have been returned back. And if we get a that's particularly in the case of a select query, and we if we get a false, that means it was basically an update statement, either from insert, delete, and update. So this return type basically helps me to figure out what kind of return type that I must what kind of the depend that return type is basically depending upon the SQL statement. So that will basically help me to basically judge what to do next. So for example, let me just comment this line. Basically, such kind of queries are written wherein we do not have the idea where I am going to get a statement which is uh, just hold on, which is a select statement that is a query in nature, or which is a update statement. So I just pass in the statement to this execute method, and depending upon whatever kind of a statement it is, it will be guaranteed to be executed. It will not give me any problem. So assume the situation is very much like a page, a web page you have got, and in that web page you see lots of data. And in those data, what happens is there are three buttons. You can add a data, add a record. You can modify a record. You can delete a record, and there's a four button, which means mm, uh, just refresh all the records so that you can see whatever the effect that has been taken. So that refresh means the table has to be refreshed, all the records has to be displayed again. So that will be possibly requiring a select statement, whereas insert button will be requiring to have a query or a statement that says insert into the table the values and so on. The update button may have a requirement in the backend to fire a update query where only a particular record of the particular row is changed, and a delete statement may be requiring to have a record deleted in particular, or a multiple row record deleted if we have a select options over there. So in all these cases, the backend will get a request from the front end that whether I have to fire a select query, or whether I have to fire a insert query, update query, or delete query, and exactly we will also getting the query, the nature of the query in some way or the other, an indication of it. So now there could be the one possible way that for each and every type of operation you have a class, say you may name it as say for example the record manager DAO. Let me write it. For example, the convention that we follow usually is record manager DAO. So as the name indicates, it's about the record. You can give it a better name depending upon the context of the application. Manager is something which is managing the DAO, data access object. So this data access object DAO, this indicates a design pattern, and I will not get into much of the depth. But basically, whenever you see a DAO coming in the end of a class name, so this is the name of the class. So you can create a class name with this, or a Java file with this name. So whenever you see this DAO, you understand that this is basically have the responsibility to connect with the database and fire queries. So we can have one class, and then we can have all these four methods. One method could be display record, where the select query is going to be fired in the record manager DAO. The another method could be delete a record, which is taking some kind of ID to delete. Similarly, or a array of ID to delete if multiple IDs need to be deleted. The other method could be update record, where we take just ID of one record which needs to be updated, the field which needs to be updated along with the value. And the fourth method could be insert record method, wherein we have a complete row, all the details that need to be inserted, and insert query could be fired from that method. So one particular approach, which is even I will suggest that it's the better approach, is that you have a class in the backend at the server side, say for the by the name record manager dot java, and inside that method for each and every operation you have a separate methods, and this method takes separate parameters. But then in that case you will have to make distinction in which method, which of these four methods is the record manager DAO class. What is the statement method that you are going to execute? So to display you will have to fire the execute query method, whereas for the rest of the operations you have to fire the execute update method. Another approach could be that instead of having four different methods, you just have a single execute method, and the execute method has the capability to combine all these queries and fire whatever query you are basically willing to fire. whether it be a select statement, a update statement, a, or mm, a delete or insert statement. So we will try to mimic the situation with a simple example. And what we will assume that in this case we are going to get the query from the console, from the keyboard. Okay, so and depending upon whatever query that we pass on, the method will be automatically be selected and the query will be fired inside the method. So what I'm saying is that in the execute query step, let me have a way to basically read from the keyboard. Say, let's see, we create an instance of a scanner class, scan is equal to new scanner, and then we know that we have to pass system dot in inside it, which is the input stream. So Control Shift O, press a Control Shift O, and you will see the import has appeared. You will see the import will add up for this scanner class. You see java.util. So so my compilation issue is resolved here. Now let's say uh, we print a message. Say for example, enter the query, and then we say string and SQL is equal to um, scan dot next line, because we want to read a string value, a complete SQL statement. So basically we have created the scanner class, and then we have printed a message, enter the query, and after the entering the query, we are reading from the console the SQL statement. So we can type in the full SQL statement, whether it's a select statement like select star from a student, or insert into students with the values given in the bracket and whatever. So we can type in the full SQL query over here. Now, once that's done, all I need to do is basically I have to call the execute method on the statement class. That means the reference variable is stmt we have got stmt, and I will call the method execute method, and the SQL statement is passed to that method, which has just been received from the console. I think it's clear till this point, right? Any doubts? Okay. Hamid has raised his hands. Let's try to unmute Hamid and let's see what you want to say. Hamid, I am not able to unmute you. Okay. You can type in the chat box. So meanwhile, he types in the chat box. We'll get back again here, and let's proceed. So now what we have done is basically we have read the whole of the SQL statement from the console, and now we know that because every time we have the option to choose the SQL statement that I want to give, so it could be different in nature. That means the SQL statement that is coming is dynamic in nature. It's basically a select query or insert query or update query or a delete query, the four queries that we will play with. So there can be any of these queries that can come at the runtime. So we do not know, right? So we do not differentiate between execute query method and the execute update method. Rather, we use the execute method so that whatever type of query comes, this execute method has the capability to run all sorts of queries. So that will be run irrespective of the nature of the query. And we need not to go with different methods. Now, in this case, what happens? This execute methods as it returns a boolean value. So I will just take a value written in a boolean variable. Say let me say result. Okay. So now the value this boolean value, the result is going to help me to differentiate the nature of the queries and what has been written by the queries. For example, if this statement basically returns me a true value, say if result is equal to true. So in this case, we can assume that it was a select query and whatever has been returned is a result set. Now, whatever has been returned is actually a boolean value. So the result set is also have been returned to the user. That means in the via through this statement variable stmt variable of the type of the class statement. But now the only difference is that we directly do not get it while we call the execute method. Rather, we have to go and fetch the result set from this the instance of the statement class. So the instant reference variable is stmt. So in this case, what I will do is I will say stmt dot uh, get result set, and this is going to give me a result set. Now I need to hold this result set into some variable. So result set variable is rs is already defined over there. So I will just use this variable, say rs, and I will assign it to it. Okay. Now the rest of the code, if I want to process it, I want to print it. So I can what I can do is I can just copy this code, the while statement, which is going to iterate over the result set, this particular result set, and is going to print it. So I can just get it, and this is going to basically print all the values. Okay. So this is if result is equal to true, and else that means if the result is equal to false, then we have the option that means the query that has been fired is basically a DML statement, one from the insert delete or the uh, or the update statement. So what we can do is we can just in this case choose to print the number of records or the rows affected. Okay. But before that, we also need to fetch this number of records or rows affected. So this is the variable name. So I will declare it of the type of integer. Integer variable name is equal to. Now again, I will get the same from basically the statement object, the same information from the statement object. So stmt dot get uh, update count. You can see the update count method over here. Now this update count is basically going to give me how many records have been affected, and the same could be printed. So clear till this point? Everyone is on the same page. Please type in the chat box. We will try to run and see. Okay. So the whole crux is we do not require separate method to fire a select query or any update query. Rather, execute method helps me with just one method where I can just pass this query, and the query could be of every any nature, and we can have that simple same query to do whatever we like. We have dynamic way of execution, different types of queries. So let me try to execute this query. So enter the query. Let me type the first query. Select star from students, and we say see that all the records are inserted. All the records are basically printed. Uh, Whether you directly call a students or you call a Jamia Hamdard dot students, that means the same thing, because we have already made the connection with Jamia Hamdard, the get connection method. So it hardly matters. Now let's try with the update statement. So in the update statement, we will assume that the result of the execute method is going to return a false value, because this particular uh, iteration and the printing of results that happened because we entered in the if block where the result was true. Now, if the statement is any of the update statement, this particular block will be skipped because result will be false in that case. And then what we will see is we will just get the number of records affected. So let me say that I want to fire one of the insert, update, or delete query. Let's see, we want to fire a update query, for example. So we want to change the age of Kumar to, say, for example, from 40 to, I want to change it to 36. 30, 36. Okay. So it is not showing. I need to apply actually. Or let me try to delete it first. Okay. So I'm going to cancel it. Just aborted the query. So you have got refresh record the pending, please. Okay. So I want to basically delete the record number 7. So I have taken up the query from here, and now in my console, the program is already running. Let me paste this query, that is delete from Jamia Hamdard dot students where serial number is equal to 7. As of now, we have got the record with serial number 7 intact. It is there. Now I want to basically delete this. So this is one of the update queries. So what will happen is, if I put a breakpoint over here, uh, it's already running. Otherwise, it will not go to the breakpoint as of now. When we run in a debug mode, then only we can see this effect. So maybe we can try in the next execution. So basically, what we will get is, the execute statement is going to have a DML statement, and the result will be a false value. So it will enter into this block where the results will not be printed, but rather resulted data will be not be printed. Rather, we will just only get the update count. That is one record which is deleted. So let's see if it is working that way or not. So once I do this, let me press the enter key, and the number of records or the rows affected are 1. And in the workbench, you can see that if you refresh it, this particular record is gone. So any doubts till this point? Okay. So actually, the battery of my laptop is going, and you know, so I'm going to stop the lecture as of this point of time, and we will see the rest of the things tomorrow. So better we will have the assignment day after tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have another class. A few important topics are there which I do not want to take it offline in a lecture. So a few topics we will discuss tomorrow, and then day after tomorrow we will have the assignment class. Okay. A lot of people are saying no sir, I mean they are not able to understand. Kamran and Arafat and Ahmad Faraz, Muhammad Niamul Haq. Okay, no doubts. Okay, I thought you were not able to understand. Okay, it's okay. So, so we are winding up the class for today. So tomorrow we will have a class. Maybe it may stretch a little longer. I want to cover two topics uh, tomorrow. So day after tomorrow we will be having assignment session. My battery is already dying. So I'm ending the session. You may log off, guys.